Tornadoes. My name is Conrad, and how are you, buddy? Um, Touching Tornadoes. Yes, I'm Conrad. I live with bipolar 1 disorder with psychotic features, and this is the daily mood journal for 10/31/25. So happy Halloween, everybody! Happy Halloween! If you're dressed up like a ghoul or a goblin today, just you know, be nice to everyone, get some candy, pass out candy. Um, we're probably gonna do some trick or treating tonight with the kids. So we'll start with the show. I've been doing gratitude check ins to start the show. Then we'll get into the daily mood journal. And then we'll get into, I got a small segment on kind of something I've been thinking about with if this stuff's curable, and then some affirmations, and then we'll get out of here. So, gratitude check in. Obviously, I'm grateful for my wife and kids. They're excited about Halloween today. It's kind of a big deal at their age, so they're the ones that this really, it kind of contributed. They're all dressed up, so in my mood journal, I'm going to talk about that a little bit as far as I feel a little bit more ramped up, which is good because I haven't been feeling so well, but also can be concerning. And those of you who are in this with me know what I'm talking about. So, anyways, I'm grateful for my wife and kids. I'm grateful for there's a group on Facebook that's going to allow me to share this with other people who have bipolar, and that's a nice thing for them to do. So I got that message this morning, which also helped contribute to maybe how good I'm feeling. So that's a good thing. But, it's kind of exciting, and then I'm wanting to check myself, if that makes sense. I think it should. But I'm grateful for them, and then I'm grateful, I got list 3 things. I'm grateful for the weather today outside. There's no wind, and so it's going to be like the perfect night for trick-or-treating. It was the perfect day for a run. I went on a long run for me, and that felt good. But so that's where we're at right now. So my gratitude check-in. Wife and kids, I'm grateful for the beautiful weather, and I've already got to experience it with my exercise this morning, and that's it. We're going to talk about the mood journal next, though. Mood rating. This is where I'm going to go with a 6. I went with a 5 yesterday and a 4 the day before. I've been feeling kind of down, but I'm coming off of mania, and I'm also coming off of kind of learning that I have rapid cycling bipolar. You don't know you have rapid cycling bipolar until you do. You don't know you have bipolar until you do. And so it's kind of concerning that I woke up. I know what I was trying to think back when I was exercising, like what was different about today or what was different about last night to make me feel like I have more energy than I did. And the biggest difference is I went to bed later than I had been going to bed the past few weeks. And so I went to bed. Am I a Christian? Yes, I'm a Christian. I went to bed later, and I know that sleep hygiene or sleep like cycles and all that affect people differently, and they really affect people that have bipolar. So it's like I don't know if just one night of a out of bounds or an out of balance sleep is enough to affect my mood so drastically. And when I say drastically, if I'm rating the days, yesterday is a like I said, I think I had a 5, but in comparison to how I'm feeling now, it feels like a bigger jump. So it's like I'm gonna give myself a 6, but I don't know if I'm just in a good mood or if I'm spiraling up. I'm still, which is why I do this. This is finally a better example of why I should do this mood journal. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm just gonna come in here every day and it's always a 4, it's gonna be, it wouldn't be as fun a show, but two, you know, it isn't gonna help. Maybe it still would help. I guess I'm gonna do it and see what comes of it. Let's see. I got a message here from a guy. What's up, buddy? I got a question. Let me see what you said. um, Thanks, Juan Carlos. Hope you find it, brother. Um, let's see. If you got a question, just go ahead and put it there. I'll get to it. And I'll just continue here. So energy level, I'll stick with a 6 for my mood level. I'm going to go with a 7 for my energy level. In comparison to how I felt, I could barely even get around the track yesterday. So I went and walked on the treadmill. I was at the YMCA yesterday, and I could barely get around the track. I went and walked on the treadmill. I was stuck in my own head the entire time. I was on a slug, which is fine. My goal was like, just keep moving, for an hour. And so I hit a smaller goal yesterday, but in comparison to that to today, that's where part of me is like, this is good. This is about the energy that I feel like I need to be the person that I need to be in the other things of my life, for work and for just being a dad and a husband. You need a certain amount of energy. Just being a homeowner, you need a certain amount of energy. So it's like, I feel like I have that in comparison. But is it too much, or am I spiraling up, or all that? So that's where I get concerned, and that's what me checking myself. This is a check. So the only thing I can tell, and I told myself, as I almost titled it like Flashback Fridays, like I was having too many flashbacks already today, and they're giving me a different feeling. Sometimes when you're in a depressive mood, when you're in the downward spiral, the flashbacks that come to you will just be like shame and guilt, will be like this gut feeling. Whereas today I was getting the flashbacks where they felt more like the anxiety type, where they felt more like they're just rushing through you. And that's where that could be maybe what a mixed episode is. You know what I mean? Where like they've told me about mixed episodes before. I've heard other people talk about them, and I've had them. I always thought of it as, when I was manic, the kind of delusions that I was getting, because I would get, like, I have the psychotic features. So when I'd be in psychosis, the kind of delusions that I'd be getting a lot of times would be like, they're just horrific, with people's faces morphing and demons and more shadows than actual, like, never really saw demons, but more shadows, and then more just a overwhelming feeling of like threat or dread or whatever, and that I was there on a mission, to battle that. It was always me against this dangerous dark force, you know what I'm saying? So those I always considered almost mixed episodes, because yeah, I don't need that guy's message. Sorry about that. I don't need that guy's message, but those dark feelings I would get when I was in a manic episode, I was like, everyone describes mania as this, not everyone. I hear a lot of times that it's described as this euphoria. And so when I describe my delusions, and I don't like to even relive them usually, but when I get flashbacks of them, it's like the opposite. You know, it was me against them. And so I don't look to my mania as I hope I get back there. And that's why I always described it, or I felt like maybe that was what they were saying was a mixed episode, where it was, I was in a euphoric, like, I was in that upward spiral. I was on the peak, but the things that were happening around me were like depressive stuff that I was having to battle. And a lot of that stuff's like, would come out as like past traumas and childhood stuff. So, I don't know what that's about either, but anyways, right now I wonder if it's a mixed episode of the other way, where it's like I'm in this depressive state where showering is hard, you know, everything seems overwhelming, and I'm fighting that feeling of like the dishes are, you know, I have to almost chunk out time or chunk out projects that are really simple, but I got to look at them as like, just get this done, you know? And so I'll be like, okay, I'll help with the dishes. Let's go do it right now. And if I chunk it out, it ends up not taking but 10 minutes. But in my mind is like, this is going to take forever. And that's what, for me, that's what happens is everything when I go down in my depressive spiral seems like everything's unachievable. Um, and then that's where you start lumping stuff onto it, you know, like I've never achieved, and I've let everyone down, and I'm a failure, and blah blah blah, and you push yourself out. So I guess that's why I'm doing this mood journal, because today is kind of a confusing day for me. Thought patterns or reoccurring themes. No, I don't know anything offhand on that. Physical sensations, tension. Yes, I have a little bit of tension in my stomach. You know, sometimes I'll describe that as anxiety, but um, triggers or wins from the day. One of my biggest triggers that I was thinking about that I have to be aware of, and it's something that it's a physical thing, is when I go manic on my way up, I'll start dressing differently. I'll start like carrying bandanas. I never carried a bandana like in my life. I never cared until I went manic for the first time, and all of a sudden these bandanas surrounded me. You know, I had to have them, and I would wrap them around my hands like gloves. I'd hang them, whatever, and you know, I kind of still like them. And there's still a weird part of me that's like, I like bandanas, you know, and I always did. It's like I was in the Boy Scouts, and then I wonder if there's like some sort of weird trauma I'm mixing up or something in the Boy Scout deal. But either way, uh, if I start, but when I'm not manic, I don't like have a bandana. I don't do any bandana behavior. So I just got to be aware that, you know, I notice like, okay, I got two different socks on, but that's somewhat normal for me. It's when I start like wanting to draw attention to myself with my wild outfit that I'm not, and I'll do it saying like, I don't care what people think, but you almost are trying to draw attention to yourself to prove that you don't care what they think. So, um, that's a trigger that I gotta watch out for. And so because I feel a little bit different and burning in me a little bit, it's like, keep an eye on that. Don't do that. I don't do it when I'm not manic. Um, what did I learn about my mood cycle today? Well, it might be really affected a lot by sleep. So, I mean, a lot more than I thought, because I was up only a couple hours later than usual, and then it made me sleep in a little longer than usual and wake up in a silly mood. So, um, reflect on patterns that may indicate early warning signs of mood shifts. I think I've done that. That's what I'm trying to do here. So, I just need to slow down. You know, sometimes I think if I am, then I'll just slow down. So, don't try to get all this stuff done. I get excited when I'm feel like something I'm doing or sharing is helping people, and so that's what this does. So in a way, I got to be careful of even doing this. So um I pulled a I actually just like googled like what are the most common questions people are asking about bipolar disorder, and there was one of the ones that people ask once they're diagnosed, is there a cure? You know, is this a lifetime? And there's no cure. It's a chronic illness. It's something you have to manage for the rest of your life. Like, these are the things that are you'll be told when you're diagnosed, and when you look it up, that's what you'll find. Now, you're going to also find there's going to be a bunch of people that'll talk about, you know, there's holistic cures, there's ways to manage it that make it basically cured, all that. But the thing is you, for me, I'm taking it now so seriously that this is my commitment to checking in. But I guess some people get to a point where maybe they don't even have to think about it. I don't know. But it's seems to be, and that's, I guess it's about the medication, you know. Am I going to have to be on medication for the rest of my life? Am I going, I don't know all that. But that was what I looked up is, you know, they're working on apps and like wearable devices right now that, so it says that there's AI for early detection. And so this identifies subtle mood indicators like changes in sleep, speech, and movement patterns before an episode. So this is something that they're working on. A 2025 study explores how artificial intelligence is transforming the management of bipolar disorder. Traditional treatment, medication, and therapy remains crucial, but AI adds a proactive layer that can enhance early detection, personalized care, and prevent relapse. The tools collect behavioral data from smartphones, wearables, and online activity to predict mood shifts, allowing interventions before episodes occur. The study emphasizes the role AI is having in moving from reactive to proactive care, while underscoring the need for human empathy and ethical safeguards. So that's kind of a summary of what I was researching through this, you know, using Chat GPT and Google to find articles and then like filter them through there to pull this out. And so um, personalized treatment plans are something that they're going to work on, which uses data to tailor care so they can optimize the medication, therapy approaches, and daily strategies. Real-time support, digital assistants, and chatbots that can guide users through coping tools and CBT exercises on demand. Integration with wearables, devices that can monitor heart rate variability, physical activity, and sleep quality to provide early warnings. Human connection still matters. The study stresses that AI must complement, not replace, human compassion and care. ethical challenges that come from this is like protecting people's privacies, preventing algorithm biases, and maintaining data security. Sure. So the future outlook of this project is that AI has the potential to transform bipolar disorder care into a more personalized, predictive, and preventative model. One of the quotes from the study was AI allows bipolar disorder care to shift from a reactive framework to a proactive, tailored model, helping predict episodes before they happen and personalizing treatment in real time. So, uh, I basically what they're trying to do is what I'm trying to do, with the mood journal and tracking myself. So I guess they're going to try to take the work out of it for us and do it or give us more um, support in doing so. But that's what's going on with the future. I mean, I don't know if it's like good to even hope for a cure for it. I don't know, because it's like, just let it. For me, it's such a damn debilitating would be the only word. It's just knowing how different I am from when I'm in an episode to where even I am right now, you know, where I'm nervous about getting into a good mood. That's and checking in on a daily basis in this kind of way and in the other ways that you have to do. It's like this is what I have to do, I think. So if there I'll wait, but I'm not going to hold my breath that there's going to be like an app on my watch that's going to say, "Oop, based on I understand that, but based on your activity, you are going mad." Like what what are they going to do to us? I don't know. We'll have to find out. We're going to end today's show in affirmations, and if these make you feel weird and stupid, like it's okay. They're kind of I have to do the affirmations. There's something that I find helpful, um, but so we'll go with them. I am learning to understand my moods without judgment. Technology can guide me, but awareness begins within me. That's because we were talking about how AI might help bipolar disorder. Each day, I am becoming more balanced and self compassionate. I trust my intuition, even when I feel uncertain. I don't know if I trust my intuition. Hey, what's up? Uh, I think this whole show basically is me saying I don't trust my intuition right now. I don't know when I ever can. I'm proud of my progress, one mindful moment at a time. Yes, I am. So I'm doing my best, and I know that my energy level was a little bit up today, and started a little bit all over the place. I feel like I've slowed down. Um, it's not how bipolar works. It's not like a fluctuation where it's on an hourly basis, really, where your mood swings are that quick. Um, but if I keep track of what's going on and can help describe to my therapist or my psychologist, the one that provides my meds, if I can help provide her with this information, that um, I feel this way. I don't even know where I was going with that. So I'm losing it, man. I'm just trying to check in, and I'm trying. It gets, if you've been as high as I've been, then you get nervous thinking like you're not even allowed to be in a good mood. And that's what today feels like. That's what today's mood feels like. Like, I feel like I finally got some energy back. I feel like I've been in a depressive state since I haven't even allowed myself the grieving process of the trauma that I put myself through, you know, and I'm already, when I feel like I have a good day, it's like, don't. So, anyways, so maybe it is. That's what I mean. That's where I was going. If I can present to my psychologist that sometimes I feel like it's uh, that ramp up, even though I'm in the mud. Is that what a mixed state is? Do I suck? Am I lucky enough to not only have bipolar 1 with psychotic features, do I also get to have rapid cycling and, episodes that are mixed? Great. That might be like where I'm at. So how do you fight it? How do you got medication? I take it. Good sleep. I can do better on that tonight. And checking in with it right now and trying to be honest with it that my mood is different today than it was yesterday, and here are all the ways. You know what I mean? So now I know. Now you know. Thank you guys for watching. And be good to yourself. Have an okay day. Check in with yourself if you have bipolar disorder. If you don't have bipolar disorder, check in with yourself. So I'm headed to eat lunch with my wife, and I'm sure I'll hear about the episode, and hopefully she likes it. Hopefully you do too. Don't let your meatloaf.